At least 30% of all technique issues and all technique inefficiency that I encounter by teaching people of different levels is connected with the bad positioning of the thumb. So let's establish some foundation so you have an idea what is the most ergonomic and efficient way of using this finger, which is so different from all the other fingers. So first of all, when we use the thumb, would be great to curve it just a little bit. So a straight thumb might be actually an option for some people, but we definitely don't want a thumb that is pointed outwards, that bends backwards. We don't want that. Except some cases, like, for example, when I play something really wide, of course, I might need that. But for the vast majority of cases, if we play just a normal scale. So here, I would really need to rather curve my thumb a little bit. Why it is important? Because when we curve our thumb just a tiny bit, like I do now, I can actually concentrate these muscles that are at the rib of my hand, at the outer part of my hand palm. This allows me to keep these muscles that are between the thumb and the second finger absolutely relaxed. So I can switch positions, not losing the stability in the thumb. And one of the good exercises to develop this is what I call a butterfly exercise, where you would hang on the thumb, feel how you hang the whole arm on this finger, make sure that you curve it a little bit, make sure that while you hang on this thumb, you feel the support here. And then do this. Play 3 notes above and beneath the thumb. Of course, you have to open the elbow to reach over, but keeping this zone free, relaxed all the time. And if you play like this, then you basically will have more tension here, most likely, which will restrain your ability to switch positions comfortably and efficiently. Then we don't want to lay at the thumb, but we also don't want to stand on it, because this, for example, causes a very high wrist, and this is a very limiting habit. If you play like this, you might notice that you feel awkward in the whole bunch of situations. So we want a very sharp angle between the last phalanx of this finger and the key. There's still, like, I can put some paper here, for example, or something really thin, like this. And this allows me to have this concentration at the fingertip. It's not laying on the key like a piece of wood. No, it's well shaped, but nevertheless, this allows me to have my wrist very close to the level of the keys. And this is exactly what we need when we use this finger. So in this example, for example, I might want to go in the keyboard for the 4th finger in order to activate it. So my wrist will be a little bit higher now. But when I get back to the thumb, I have to fall back. I have to fall back to the level with the keys. That's why a pattern like this works best when you play the thumb on the motion out, getting back to the level with the keys with your wrist, and in the keyboard for the 4th finger. So then it feels really, really confident and very comfortable. Then, of course, what is really helpful is if you use your thumb using either gravity, when you would just kind of fall down on it, or when you use a forearm rotation. But we don't really need this motion, which originates in the wrist. Yeah? So we don't need to lift and fall on our thumb using this part of our hand palm. Instead, we can always rely on this motion, which is much more ergonomic. And another great tip for today I would like to share with you about playing scales really fast. I have already 2 videos on scales where I explain in detail all the possible aspects of playing scales, but I would like to speak about a so-called thumb over technique, because we know a thumb under technique, which is very popular, of course, when we play scales in a moderate tempo. So I would consider this still like moderately fast tempo, and here this technique works. But when we play something very quick, which should sound like glissando, like for example in this Grand Polonaise Brillante by Chopin. In this piece, or in any other spot that has passages that are so quick, of course we don't have time for this. We simply don't have time for this. That's why in such passages we think positionally, and if I would terribly exaggerate what I'm doing here, it would look like this. For the end of the passage, I go in the keyboard right to the bottom in order to provide a very confident and bright ending. But for all these positions, basically, I don't connect them, and I just think positionally. That's why the first stage, in order to establish this, would be to play it slowly, doing exactly what I'm doing, exaggerating this motion, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and not connecting these positions. The next step would be to play them quicker, but with some gaps between the hand positions in order to relax the fingers quickly between the positions. Relax, relax, relax. And you don't gain any time. You move to the next position immediately, but you play it after a gap where you feel that you have completely relaxed your hand. And of course, while you play like this, you would want to hear all the notes. It has to be very, very precise, although very light. And then, when you're good with that, you play, for example, two positions at a time. Fighting for the evenness, so it has to sound as even as possible, so it should not be very audible where exactly you switch this position. You might need to play it a few times, especially if you have not the best piano, not a very voiced piano. You have to be very careful about not causing accidental accents. And of course, what helps here is to think about working more with your fingers 3-4 or 2-3 and playing the thumb lighter. So that's basically what I'm aiming to speak more with the weaker fingers and to play the heavier fingers lighter. But still, on most pianos, of course, you would need to use a little bit of pedal and really concentrate a lot in order to make it sound more or less even, because piano that has not been in the maintenance recently, of course, is not perfectly even. So you might hear some accents, and just make sure that you understand the difference where whether you cause these accents because of your not optimized finger usage, or the piano simply is not voiced enough, so it just sounds differently. Please write in comments whether this was helpful or not, and of course check out my comprehensive courses following the link in the description. Thank you for watching this, and see you next time.